FM, AM 1160, and WCCSradio.com. Two of our three Indiana County Commissioners with us so far, and we don't know, but maybe Shireen Hess will be able to join us a bit later in the conversation, which is brought to you by Marcus & Mack, voted best personal injury law firm in the Best of Indiana County contest. Marcus & Mack, a law firm representing injured people. County Commissioners Mike Keith and Robin Gorman join us this morning. Morning to both of you.
Good morning,
Todd.
It's good to have you both with us. So we talk about a number of items when we visit with you each month, and I generally lead it off. But Robin, what you have with you today is something that has become more and more important these last few election cycles. You want to hold that up to our Facebook folks?
I brought in my mail-in ballot that has not been opened yet. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to open it for you here today unless you want me to. But it's really important. We've been stressing, and I talked a lot before in the past about first-year mail-in ballots were used. I tested it then, and I continue to fill out my mail-in ballot, make sure that it's processed correctly at our courthouse. And I oftentimes go to my own voting poll and ask them if I can vote. And it's really cute to watch them go, sorry, Commissioner, but it shows that you've mailed in your ballot.
She actually goes and tests them, Mike.
She does.
How about that?
She does.
It's a lot of fun, and I think people really appreciate that you can talk about the process. And again, I always say we can speak for our county. We can assure you that we look at every ballot. It's integral. Your vote counts, and we need you to come out and vote.
There you go. I can see her walking in there, and the election people going, "Oh, here comes Robin again."
Yeah,
she's going to pull that old "Can I vote" thing.
Right.
Shireen Hess is coming into the studio with us right now as we continue to talk elections here this morning. Mike, we were talking about, and Robin brought this up off mic. She was talking about the integrity of elections and how when we get to what we consider to be off-year elections, people tend to think that means less important elections. But in a way, these kinds of elections are much more important.
They are, Todd, because, we get asked a lot of questions that people want either the county commissioners to do or else our state representative senators. And usually whenever the question's asked, it's like we have to tell them that you have to understand, first of all, we're in a Commonwealth, and you have to drive it down to your local government. Being a township supervisor, it really truly is down to the local government, because within your boroughs and your townships, that's where a lot of your ordinances, that's where a lot of your laws and everything that govern within that municipality, that's where it starts. Mm-hmm. And then it works its way up. A lot of people think that the county can override local government, which we can't.
No.
That's not the way that the Commonwealth is set up.
They're separate entities with separate functions. Shireen, come on in and join this conversation because
good morning.
I know when we talk about elections, that's something that very much concerns you too. And these elections, in an odd-numbered year, sometimes they get a lesser turnout, and that's a shame because this really is where government is in action.
Sure is. And, the saying, all politics is local, is really apt on these years. And, I was cleaning out my desk and found this old newspaper article. It was a letter that I had written, a letter to the editor. It was about 20 years ago, and it was talking about how there's some 500 local government, in just Indiana County alone, 500 positions of elected or appointed officials. And when you think about that, and it's probably more like closer to 1,000 when you count everything in between auditors and all the way up to the row offices, to the judges, to all those kinds of things. So there is a lot of ballots around the state have no contested races, and they have blank ballots literally in a lot of these rural counties, and that's a shame. And we should try to do something about that.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so I said that I tend to hijack these conversations early, and then I ask you what you want to talk about. So let me stop dominating here and toss it over. Who wants to go first today?
Well, I want to recognize the amazing work of our community around us and some things coming up to highlight them. But first of all, I want to thank S&T Bank for picking up the reins from Jen Reary and Paula good for our Chevy Chase Center with the recent, of course, incident that happened out there. But the S&T filled the bus, which is awesome, to help our Chevy Chase Center. So thank them for that. This coming Thursday, the Historical and Genealogical Society is recognizing our Indiana County Tourist Bureau for their 60th year anniversary. So that's awesome. And please come out on Wednesday, that's tomorrow, the 18th, to support our Alice Paul House for Domestic Violence Month. And go eat at Haas's because they're giving 20 to 25% of the proceeds that will go to support Alice Paul House. And then tomorrow is also Unity Day to prevent bullying. Wear orange, and it shows that we're united for kindness, acceptance, and inclusion in our community. And that's just a few. I can let my commissioners name some other things that we did proclamations for on Wednesday.
Well, the microphone is at Shireen's height right now, so.
And I let her use mics because I already ruined mine.
She already broke one, so Shireen, go ahead, try to break the other one, would you? What's on your mind today as a county commissioner?
There's so many things going on. It's overwhelming, and
Well, the sustainability summit.
Well,
was
yeah,
just held.
I could say a little bit about that. And
Yeah.
actually, there's a big conference going on and all over Washington D.C. and a lot of folks from the abandoned mine land communities are going to that because there's so many needs there, and there's a lot of federal funds coming down from there. And hopefully, we'll see some of that come to Indiana. There's just a lot going on in terms of even at the local level and parks and trails and all those amenities that make living here, a nice experience. So. Gosh, I mean, I bet you could call any municipality right now, and they are super busy getting roads constructed or repaired, bridges repaired, fixing up their parks, and there's just a lot going on. So,
what about that Sustainable Economy Summit on Friday really stood out to you? I know everybody, the big thing that everyone, hey, look at the cars. But
there were the electric cars.
But there was
pretty neat.
a ton of information on a number of different topics.
Yeah, we talked about, we got a great broadband expansion update from our planning office, from Byron Stauffer at the planning office, and our two contractors talked in some nice detail about some of the expansion plans. And then Penn State Extension talked on a different matter about utility scale solar installations on large tracts of land and what some of the details related to that. And these are all recorded too, I believe. I know we were live streaming it, but if there are any landowners out there who are interested in what Penn State Extension had to say, I mean, I learned a lot myself, and I'm in the mix of it, but there's so much going on. So, and that's another reason why it's so important to be civically engaged. No matter what it is, it can be just any tiny thing that you do really matters because there's so much going on in our communities that is connected to the state and federal levels now. Yeah. So it's good to be in the know. Knowledge is power, as they say.
Absolutely. Mike Keith, you can readjust that microphone. There you go. There you go.
He knows how to do it.
Well, again, here it is, budget season. We're in the thick of it. We've gone through probably 90% of our budget hearings, so we're coming up to the last of it. Mm-hmm. The other thing is something come out last week that actually caught my eye was the new population study that just came out, and it shows that Indiana County is possibly going to have an increase in population, 90,000 plus coming up. So it was actually done across the state, and the study shows that in western Pennsylvania, that Indiana County stands alone.
Yeah.
In Westmoreland County, it shows that they're going to have a high decline in their population coming up. So,
our county's taken a few hits in terms of business and industry in the past couple of years, and yet still we continue to grow, which means that there are a lot of people doing a lot of hard work to make this not only a great place to work, but a great place to live.
And really, to back that up, you wonder why, like Texas Roadhouse and Panera and all those, why those big names are coming to Indiana. So something's out there triggering something to happen. So we're hopefully going to see that increase in population.
Some of the things, of course, that you as commissioners are dealing with involve renovations to buildings and refurbishments of buildings. I know the Annex building over there is going to be getting some work. Those are expenditures for the county, but the ability for those older buildings, especially, to still be viable is, in the end, a tremendous savings for Indiana County if they are done right, and that's what you're working on right now, getting them done right.
Last thing I have is we did a proclamation for Fire Prevention Month week, and just want to put a shout out to thank all those first responders and firefighters for what they do, and to all the residents, remember to change your battery when you change the time.
Yeah, that's coming up too. All right, well, obviously the election coming up in just a couple of weeks. We're good with machines and with voting precincts and all of those things?
We are.
And
our
Robin's mail-in
elections
ballot?
director, our registration office, it's what made me think of it this morning. They're just so busy. They're out doing everything they do so well, training, preparation, boots on the ground, and we'll be prepared.
Yeah. I know that I don't know that we've had a chance to talk with any of you, your reactions to the Chevy Chase, the shooting at Chevy Chase Community Center, how that community around the Chevy Chase Community Center has rallied, and the great spirit that they have there. But when tragic events like that occur, it's good to see people who respond and respond positively. At the same time, we know that there are some tremendous needs and some things that have to happen within our entire community to make sure things like this don't happen.
Yeah. And we wanted to thank Renda and, of course, everybody who came out, but that could live stream that so that people could feel a part of it, even though maybe they couldn't make it on short notice at the vigil. But you're right. And I think we all said it differently that night, but we looked out at who was there and we said, this is what we love about our community, right? It's how we come together and support each other in the hardest of times and in the best of times, actually. The Indiana Area Collaborative Team, we like to applaud our efforts and that we were as prepared and things went excellent. To have 2 helicopters and all of the ambulance services and triaging with the hospital in less than 34 minutes, every single victim was taken care of. That just doesn't happen, and it's because we were prepared. But there is a lot of work to be done, and the leaders of IACT are up to bring everyone in that wants to be involved and work together to make sure we do everything we can that doesn't happen again in our community. But like I said, we're not immune from the rest of the world, and these things do happen at the best preparations.
Yes, they absolutely do. All right. Our county commissioners, thank you all so much for coming to visit with us today. We appreciate that.
Thank you.
Thanks,
It
Todd.
is the voice of Indiana County. It's WCCS 101.1 FM, AM 1160, and WCCSradio.com.